Welcome to Gamer Ability. I'm your host, Sixpenny, and I'm back with another MLB The Show 21 gameplay video. Today, I'm providing a tutorial specifically focused on the best hitting settings in the game. I will be doing other tutorial videos, including hitting tips, pinpoint pitching tips, pitch recognition, and a lot of others as well. So be sure to click that subscribe button, turn on notifications to stay tuned on all my new MLB The Show tutorials and all my Road to the Show and other content as well. So let's go ahead, get on with the video. So as we move in here, when you go to options, the first batting setting we're going to look at is in the general. So if you go to settings and you hit RB until you get to general, this is where you can change your gameplay style. This is basically, it adjusts the game's tuning scale. So it basically changes the whole underlying game experience. Casual is that more arcade feel. You just want to pick up and play, not have to worry about much. That's not my favorite, but simulation is basically if you want that full authentic MLB experience to where your actual player ratings in game are going to dictate their performance on the field. User input is lower on the scale here, but for me, I want my user input to really have the most impact, and that's what competitive game style means. So your user skill sticks, your button hitting, that is going to be the most important. User input dictates the outcome. This is the default for online head-to-head. Now, not fully. It's not like if you hit a perfect, you're going to smack a home run every time. Player stats still matter. So it's not like you can have your pitcher, Luis Castillo, comes up to bat and just hits a home run because it's perfect. No. So it's still based on player ratings, but your input is going to have the most effect. So if you want the best setting for hitting, you're going to want to choose the competitive option to where your user input has the greatest effect on the outcome. So let's go ahead and move on to the other settings. Let's talk about hitting views first. I think that's the biggest thing you need to talk about. So when you go to options, go to cameras, let's talk about the different views. One of the best views for a presentation and timing PCI standpoint is Strike Zone 3. If you're looking at Strike Zone 3, you have a good view of the pitcher. You can pick up the pitch recognition, whether it's a ball or a strike, so just right down the middle. When you watch live streams, when you watch competitive players, you're going to see Strike Zone 2 and Strike Zone 1 the most. And there's a few reasons for that. Number one, if we go to the first strike zone, I like this because when you change, you can really see, look at the pitcher, you can really pick up on the spin rate of the ball to tell if it's a breaking ball or fastball. You also have to make less micro adjustments. It's much easier to get your PCI on the ball when you have a bigger strike zone because you don't have to make as many of those tiny micro adjustments. And I'll show you here. So that's Strike Zone 1. It's really good for timing, and the reason is because basically right when the ball gets to the screen, you're going to swing. Now, if we use what I use a lot of the times for my videos is Strike Zone 3, you actually have to swing before. And you see how I have to make micro adjustments, which can be a lot harder. And timing is a little bit difficult. So I will say my timing is always the best with Strike Zone 1 or Strike Zone 2. But for presentation, I want to see the player's swings. I want to see everything. So that's why I use Strike Zone 3. Now let's look at the comparison here on Strike Zone 2. So we can take a look at Strike Zone 2 right here. I was a little bit early and didn't make good contact with that one. But you can see it's just a really good view. I can pick up on the pitchers there. So that's the setting. If I was going to go with camera options there for settings, I'd go with one of those three. And then you can also create whatever camera you want. I'm going to do a specific video on that, but you can create whatever camera you want. So say, let's edit. I can go ahead and talk about it right now. You can choose your camera preset by hitting RB and LB. So say you like Strike Zone 2, but you want it to move back a little bit. Then all you're going to do is just hit left trigger and create a hybrid between Strike Zone 2 and Strike Zone 3. Don't move the directions because you want to keep in that same plane. Or you can go to Strike Zone 3 and just be like, I just want to be a little bit closer. Help me with timing, pitch recognition. You can do that as well. So you can customize the camera to whatever you want, which is pretty sweet. So that's enough about cameras. Let's move on to some of the other important settings here. Now, as we take a look at the best hitting interface that you see competitive players use, that you see most players in this game use, the most popular, I think it's the best, is zone. So zone hitting, that's what you're seeing, that PCI on the screen right here. So you can move it around. Basically, you want the middle of that to contact the ball. So that is zone hitting. Another popular one is directional hitting. I don't really enjoy directional hitting. So you use the left stick to focus inside outside and you swing the bat. It's a more simplified approach. You can see that down, up, left, right. It's a very simplified approach. You really don't have full control over where you're swinging. I'm not a big fan of directional hitting. I think zone is by far the best hitting setting. So as we go back to zone, once you pick zone, you're going to need to make a few other changes as well. So we're going to go back to zone. Input type for me, the best is buttons. You can choose analog, but buttons to me, you're going to hit X for power swing, A for normal swing, B for contact. You don't need to worry about the analog type. I would not recommend swinging with the analog stick. To me, it's not my favorite for timing. Next, we move on to the plate coverage indicator. I like diamonds. Diamonds are my favorite PCI center. And what you're going to notice, so let's choose diamonds here. So Castellanos is a power hitter. You see those 3 diamonds in the middle? You have the upper one is for power. Power hitters, that's where you want to contact the ball to get the most power. The middle one is for balanced. A more balanced hitter, most of the time you're going to see that middle one as the biggest one. Now, if you're a true contact hitter, don't have a lot of power, the bottom diamond is going to be the biggest. That's basically telling you with that specific player, that's where you want to aim. That's where you want to hit the center of the ball. Now, keep in mind, this is going to change from batter to batter. It's going to change in situations because some pitchers have different quirks to where they increase strikeouts when they're ahead in the count. Or a batter that is clutch, you're going to see, or increased power in clutch situations. You're going to see those change from pitch to pitch. But really, ideally, I just aim for the center. That's what I'm looking for each time. Center contact on the ball. Now, as we move into the other PCI settings, I like basic inner. You can mess around. Wedge looks more like a baseball bat. I'll show it here. So yeah, it actually looks more like a baseball bat in view, but I think basic is the best. And honestly, I don't even think you need this inner one on. If you turn it off in strike zone 2, for me, it's easier when I'm practicing to turn that other off and just focus on that center point PCI, because that's what's most important. You want that center point right on the ball. In Castellanos type for power, I want that top point right on the center of the ball. So I don't even need that. When I practice without the inner, and then when I'm playing the game, I usually put it on for basic for presentations for my viewers. Outer PCI basically is showing a player that has high vision. They can make better contact when their inner PCI is not in contact with the ball. I recommend you turn this off. If we turn it on, there's just too much on the screen. So you can have it to where it's on and then fades out like I have it set up there. I think it's best to just turn it off. I don't think it adds anything in the game for me that helps me on the play. It just adds more distractions. PCI color. I don't want white because the ball is white. That throws me off. Yellow is what I see the best, and you want to make sure you turn up the PCI transparency to 100. That's when you're going to see it really well. If we go down to 20 as we look here, you can't see it. I mean, you can't see it at all. So definitely, I would highly recommend turn that up to the max. Pick a color that you see best. If you see red the best, you see green, you can pick whatever color you want that's in the game here. So if you're going to have the outer PC on because you want to see that player's vision, you can do that and then just have fade out the outer. You can have it fade out the inner and outer to where you can see the players, basically their contact region, and you can have it fade out. Those are the main hitting settings. Now, one thing you notice when you change difficulty, so let's put it on rookie. If we put batting on rookie, look at the PCI. The PCI is huge. The inner contact area is huge. You can just blast the ball. Now, as you increase the difficulty, so let's change from rookie all the way to legend. There's a few things that happen. One is the PCI gets way smaller, but the other thing is the pitch comes in faster. So look at the pitch velocity. So the pitch, that 94-mile-an-hour fastball, comes in much quicker. So that's why when you practice, when you're in the practice settings here, you want to make sure you're practicing in higher settings. What I usually do is Hall of Fame or Legend. I usually mix around with both. This gives you an advantage, kind of another tip at the end of the settings video here. It helps you see you're going to see the pitches, they're going to be coming in faster. And if you can tell a ball and strike on Legend and Hall of Fame, you're going to definitely be able to tell that strike on Veteran and All-Star. It's just going to make you a better hitter. That's what I always practice on. So now you know the best settings that you can use to specifically hone in on your hitting skills and to have the best experience in the game. Mess around with these settings, mess around with the views, try to find the best views, even create your custom views as well. Stay tuned on the channel. I'm going to be doing many more. I'm going to do a hitting tips tutorial. I'm going to be doing a pitching tips tutorial and going to show you a routine that I go through to help me with my hitting. Keep in mind, I'm not the best player. I'm still learning the game, but I spend a lot of times learning mechanics in games and trying to get this information out to the community to provide all the help that I can. So drop a like on this video to help this video in the algorithm. It greatly means a lot to me. And subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my other tutorials for this game and all my other gameplay videos for MLB The Show. Tune into a live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/gamer_ability. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. I play this game, but I also play PGA 2K21 as well. As always, have a fantastic day. Be sure to click on another one of my videos right after this.